you called the other day and you were telling me an interesting story about a confrontation you had, and I thought people might be interested to hear about it. If you can take a couple of minutes and tell us about that, I think people will find that very interesting.
Oh, sure. I had the opportunity to go to the vice presidential debate between Mike Pence and Tim Kaine down in Farmville, Virginia, and I had a pass to get back into the media spin room after the debate. And, I was back there meeting lots of people, and I turned around, and there was Reverend Jesse Jackson about 12, 15 feet away. And I didn't think twice. I mean, literally, it was like a split-second decision. It's like, oh, I need to go ask him an important question. So he had his back to me, and I said, Reverend Jackson, and he spun around, and I reached out my hand, and I said, hey, I'm Terry Beatley, president of Hosea Initiative, and I have a question for you. I said, about 30 years ago, you used to actively expose Margaret Sanger's racist population control plan called, Planned Parenthood's Negro Project. And I said, today it's killing more African Americans than all diseases, homicides, accidents, and, of course, all those police shootings added together. And I said, I just want to know, sir, how come you no longer expose Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood's racist population control plan that's being executed via abortion? He wouldn't look at me. When I ended with the question, he turned his head, looked at me, and we kind of locked eyes for about 4 seconds, and it was dead silence. And I knew right then he has no legitimate answer, and he couldn't come up with one. He gave me a mock answer by saying, well, I need to go to this radio or TV interview, but you stay right here, and I'm going to come back, because I really do want to answer that. And I thought, no, you don't. And so he was speechless, and, of course, the entire time I'm remembering that excellent segment you have on MAFA about how Jesse Jackson, when he ran for president, what was it, back in 1984?
Mm-hmm.
So up until that point, he was very vocal about black genocide. And then because there's no room for a pro-life person, inside the Democrat Party anymore, bottom line, he knew I'd caught him in exactly what's been happening. It's called selling out to the abortion industry. Tim Kaine's done the same thing. And, of course, Hillary Clinton, she never was on the pro-life side.
Right.
So.
And he's also a product of an almost abortion here. So he understands better than most of us what was going on, what was happening, what abortion is about. I don't know, it just boggles my mind.
It's about power, prestige, privilege, and position, and Jesse Jackson is exemplifying that. He's putting politics, he's putting his position, he's putting all the money, and so until the heart gets changed.
When you look at him, you see somebody that looks very sad. I don't know if y'all have ever noticed that.
He looked very sad that day.
He looks like the saddest person I've ever seen. Just look at him next time you see him with that context. And he is the saddest-looking person, and I think he knows he sold his soul.
Well, that is what was striking me as I stood there in front of him, because I'm looking up at his face. He was choosing to look away.
Terry, we're out of time, but let me ask you something. After he did this television or radio interview that he said he had to go do and would come right back, did he come back?
No. I was right across the room, and I was one of the few with a red jacket on, so he could have scoped me out. Yeah.
I could have told you the minute he walked away that he was never coming back, and you could have done the same thing.
Well, that's why I walked away, because I knew he wasn't going to be walking back. There is no question in my mind. Reverend Jesse Jackson knows he is an accomplice to the annihilation of the black race. He knows it, and what he has to do is figure out what's more important, money and prestige, or speaking out for the truth.